Just hours ago, Bitcoin almost broke $50,000 but failed. Can the Bitcoin bulls pull it off in the hours ahead? Yes, today. Can they pull it off? In this video, I'm going to break down a very critical hourly chart that you have to be watching. And what does $20,000 have to do with all of this? What is up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture. Hit that like, hit that subscribe on the way in. I appreciate it. Let's jump into the Bitcoin video. Everybody, this really is, I put it in the thumbnail, hours ahead. Maybe it looks clickbaity, but it's true. We've had this formation. This is an hourly chart, not going back a ton of time, but this swing high February 9th, around 5 days ago, a couple swing highs, this previous higher high, Bitcoin failing at 50,000, and each time falling into this consolidation, right? Each time forming this rising wedge. We have breakout targets to the upside, $55,000. We have a breakout target to the downside, the low 40,000s. Be ready for it. I want to underline this video by letting you know I'm extremely bullish on Bitcoin, especially long-term macro, and even on these charts, these short-term charts, I'm kind of bullish. I think the Bitcoin bulls can pull this off with a break to the upside through 50,000, approaching that 1 trillion market cap. But there are some extremely important areas to watch now on the hourly chart today. This is what I'm watching. I want to break it down for you. So this final falling channel I have charted here, it's speculative. There hasn't been any more lower highs. There's been no more swing highs. Right now, Bitcoin has put in kind of a second touch for a lower low. And it's a very short-term falling channel that Bitcoin's potentially in right now, leading us into really the lower trend line of this longer-term rising wedge, this green channel. This is where you want to be careful. This is where we're looking for potential bearish break to the downside. And it all starts with what is happening right here, right now. So resistance is what we want to look for. You might be saying, well, what about support? Well, resistance is what I'm looking for because I'm looking for this very speculative setup. And what it would look like is this. We have this swing high where Bitcoin kind of failed, approaching 50,000, to this current swing low. And this is an hourly chart. This just happened. Let me zoom in here. This is what I'm watching. This is what I'm watching today. $49,400, right around there at the 786, down to around $49,100. That resistance area is incredibly important to me in the short term because, number one, I want to see if there is true resistance, if Bitcoin can make it up there. And if there is resistance, what we have in play is the speculative falling channel, right? And so then we're going to really have something to track because then we're talking about, well, what does support look like down here at this lower trend line? And we're getting the final setup. And this is why I think it's hours ahead. We're in the middle of getting this final setup. I think that's going to give us our answer. Can Bitcoin break to the upside or is it going to fall to the downside? And, you know, it's taken days to play out, but here we are after the series of higher highs and higher lows for Bitcoin at a really critical area. So that's what I'm watching to the upside. I want to see what Bitcoin does and how it interacts with this Fibonacci resistance area. If Bitcoin can just actually break to the upside and completely demolish the short-term resistance, that's probably the best possible thing that could happen for Bitcoin. Bitcoin's so close to $50,000, even from where it is right now, 48,784 or so, to the $50,000 mark. It's only, let's see, where's $50,000? It's only like a 2.5% move for Bitcoin. So that can happen in like a minute. So this is what I'm watching today for resistance. $20,000, what does that have to do? So we're at this mental thing, the $50,000 mark. I mean, it's half of $100,000. It's something we've talked about for years. Like Bitcoin is there, 2.5% away. And then just above that is 1 trillion. There's so much of a psychological barrier. There's so much of a psychological hurdle, I think, for the markets, and people see that as resistance. And the same thing happened leading into 20,000. And here's an hourly chart leading into 20,000. And this is before Bitcoin actually truly broke $20,000. And let me zoom out here on the hourly. This is before it happened. This is the true break Bitcoin got. And, you know, it was like December area. But leading into that, Bitcoin was getting very close. And you can just see on this chart, Bitcoin was touching 19,500. Many people, and you could probably go back and watch my videos talking about the potential breakout ready to happen, and it didn't happen. And there was resistance right here. And right now you can see this was a rising channel back then. It had basically 3 higher highs, and that last swing high had a Fibonacci resistance failure. So that swing high to swing low, which is very similar to what we're tracking right now on the hourly chart. And look at Bitcoin, really not closing any hourly candles, no separation from this resistance, seeing resistance and just falling down, ultimately leading to this lower trend line. Bitcoin broke to the downside, hit a target down here. I mean, the target almost probably got hit pretty perfectly, maybe a little bit over, but in the $16,000 range. So going back here to our chart now, hourly chart, we're in a very similar move at a very similar type of psychological state. This resistance area at $50,000, very similar, I think, when I'm looking at market sentiment in terms of $20,000. So look at the move, and will it play out the same? If we look at this hourly chart back then, Bitcoin, what it did was came up, Fibonacci, failure, down. We look at the hourly chart now. What will Bitcoin do? Will it come up, Fibonacci failure, down? Or will Bitcoin break up to the upside? And if we do get resistance here on the short term, just we have to watch support. And I should just mention, in terms of support, you really just want to watch this lower trend line down here. So 48,000, 47,000, could even come a little lower, the high 46,000s at this lower trend line down here. But that is the support for Bitcoin, all the way down to that range. And it could happen. But in the immediate short term, this is what I'm watching to the upside. I know I'm spending a lot of time on the hourly, but this is it, everybody. The move to $50,000 is what we're waiting for. If we start zooming out a little bit, everything happening. These are all of our targets. I did this video yesterday. Bitcoin being pulled to the upside. $55,000 target, $55,000 target, a $50,000 target, $51,000 target, the $1 trillion magnet pulling Bitcoin, and Bitcoin in the truest resistance on this 6-hour chart in between these two 1618 areas. If you didn't see the video or videos, because this is what we've been tracking, this is such resistance for Bitcoin. The swing high here to the swing low to a 1618, and then this lower high to the same swing low to another 1618. This is such big resistance. Bitcoin just trying to come up with the momentum to break through. And as we've been tracking this, again, since this swing high, February 9th, Bitcoin has really just broken the 1618 at the lower end, and now getting close to testing this 1618 at the upper end. So remember, this is resistance for Bitcoin too. Putting aside all of the $50,000 psychological resistance, there is a lot of resistance here just above $50,000 all the way down here to that $46,900 to $47,000 area. So we're in like a crazy critical time on these short-term charts, everybody. And it's really going to dictate probably the short to mid-term in terms of what direction Bitcoin breaks right now. And I really think today is a really important day. So let's see what Bitcoin does. Now that I just said that, watch Bitcoin just trade sideways. It'll just trade sideways until tomorrow. We'll see. It happens actually sometimes when we do these videos hours ahead. So let's see, everybody. This is what I'm tracking. I just want to do an update. If there's a big move, I will probably do another update a little bit later. I hope you're having an awesome day out there. Hit that subscribe, hit that like. I'll see you all in the next video. God bless.